Local author Dennis Stilson has dedicated himself to researching a string of Utah murders which forever changed the United States legal system. The murderer was one Gary Gilmore. Stilson tells the story of Gilmore and his infamous murder weapon in his new book, Life After Execution: The Gilmore Gun. Life After Execution is the latest edition of a book that Stilson has published 2 other times under different titles as an ongoing and ever-expanding project. Stilson's project began when he was working as a pawnbroker and bail bondsman. One day, a local store owner's daughter told him her dad had some guns for him to sell.
Anyway, he comes in carrying this murder weapon. Documents, FBI lab reports, court documents, more provenance you could ever ask for on any gun in history. And he wanted me to sell it for him. There's the FBI lab reports of the gun.
Gilmore's execution for his crimes with the gun marked the first execution since the controversial reinstatement of the death penalty in 1976.
It was 13 and a half years was the national average at that time from conviction to execution. They executed him in 6 months.
Stilson has seemingly made it his mission to capture nearly every major mention of Gilmore's case he can get his hands on. But did he ever meet Gilmore himself?
Not meet. I'd seen him in passing at the store and at the restaurant and stuff, hanging around, whatever. He just had a bad aura about him. Anyway, there's a lot of little stories of encounters of people I knew with him and that in the book.
After his book was first published in 2005, he was flooded with additional Gilmore stories.
It's never stopped, put it that way. More and more after the first book, more people came in and brought a lot more personal stories and encounters with Gilmore and laws changing and then different offers on the gun. So it's an ongoing story where the gun is basically the character with me around it as the supporting actor.
But Stilson insists that his project and the gun itself are more than just pieces of morbid memorabilia. To him, they are an important part of national history.
No other gun at any level can even come close to this. It brought back capital punishment. It was part of the evidence that convicted the murderer. No other gun changed laws and reenacted laws at this level.
Stilson said his next project may be a book centered on his own life and career.
Actually, I'm working on that book now. Kind of a historical narrative about me and what was happening in history around me. I've known a lot of famous people. I've got a whole lot of stories that I could tell you stories for the next week about encounters and things. And I was a boxer, I was a musician, I was a guide in Alaska, learned to fly, I've been securities insurance license plus all my credentials for as a bounty hunter and bondsman and insurance and everything. So just done a lot of stuff.
But are there any famous people Stilson would still like to meet?
Joe Rogan. I've kind of been saving a lot of these stories for him. I've got an offer for him. I'm hoping he'll see this and give me a holler. I've watched him. I like the way he interviews, and he's my choice. I've got an offer for him and stories more in depth about this whole thing that I don't go into in the book because I try to keep it, reader friendly to a point.
In the meantime, locals can find out more information about the case and where to buy the book at gilmoregun.com. This is Nick Fiala reporting for St. George News, your #1 source for local news.